how Sage BusinessWorks calculates the federal withholding tax using the 2019 and prior W-4. There are three factors that determine how federal withholding tax is calculated, and it's all based on the W-4 that is submitted by the employee. Employees that were hired before 2020 filled out a W-4 form claiming allowances. Those employees can continue using that original W-4 form. New employees that are hired after January 1, 2020, or employees that are making changes to tax withholding, use the current W-4 form. This form has a different structure and changes the way that withholding calculates. And the next factor would be whether or not the box in step 2 of the current W-4 is checked. In this video, we will be using Sample Company in Sage BusinessWorks version 2024. This is calculating for employees who are using the W-4 form 2019 and prior. The tax tables are for the tax year 2024. The federal withholding is calculated based on the employee's adjusted annual wage amount for that specific pay period. Here's the formula. It takes the current time card's taxable pay times the number of pay periods in the year to get the annual pay. If the employee is paid weekly, the number of pay periods would be 52. Biweekly, 26 pay periods in the year. Semi-monthly, 24 pay periods in the year, and so on. Now we need to subtract any pre-tax deductions. So if the employee has, for example, a 401k that is pre-tax, we need to subtract that from the annual pay to get the taxable pay. The next step is we need to multiply the number of allowances that the employee claimed on the Form W-4 by $4,300. Then we subtract the allowances from the annual pay to arrive at the adjusted annual wage amount. Now we use the annual tables in Sage BusinessWorks under Payroll, Taxes, Maintain Tax Tables to calculate the amount of tax for the year based on the adjusted annual wage amount. This gives us the annual tax withholding. We then divide that amount by the number of pay periods in the year to get the tax withheld for that pay period. Let's look at an example. We have an employee that is paid weekly at a rate of $20 an hour. So under Maintain Employees, under their pay info, we can see it's weekly, hourly at $20 an hour. Their filing status is married using 2 allowances. They have a pre-tax deduction 401k, 5% of the gross. When we calculate using the formula, our employee worked 40 hours at $20 an hour. That equals the current time card's wages of $800. The employee has a pre-tax 401k deduction of 5% of the gross, or $40. The taxable wages would be the $800 minus the $40, or $760. We then take the $760 times 52, which is the number of weeks or pay periods in the year, and that equals $39,520 of annual pay. Our employee has selected 2 allowances on their W-4. We take that times the $4,300. That equals $8,600. We then subtract their annual pay of $39,520. We subtract the $8,600 of allowances, and that gives us an adjusted annual wage amount of $30,920. We then use the annual tables in Sage BusinessWorks to calculate the tax. To calculate the taxes, Our employee has $30,920 in adjusted wages. We then look at the tax tables in Sage BusinessWorks for married and find that our employee falls within that second bracket and their wages is between $16,300 and $39,500. So the rate is 10% of the amount over $16,300. So we take the $30,920 of adjusted wages, we subtract the $16,300 limit, and that equals $14,620. We then take that amount times 10%, the rate, that's $1,462. Our employee is paid weekly, that's 52 pay periods in the year, so we divide the annual withholding by the 52 pay periods, and that's $28.12 of tax withheld for the pay period. Let's see how BusinessWorks calculated the tax. We have an employee worked 40 hours at $20 an hour for $800. Our employee also has a 401k, 5% of the gross. Save our time card and let's do our automatic payroll calculation. And then take a look at what BusinessWorks calculated for the federal withholding tax. And we can see the federal withholding tax is $28.12. That the tax calculated matches the formula exactly.